Welcome to Roots and Realities, where we talk about motherhood, marketing, and everything in between. I'm your host, Emma Hushka, founder of Fiddle Leaf Marketing and mom of 2 little girls navigating the beautiful chaos of growing a business while growing a family. This podcast is all about real stories from real women, the kind of conversations that happen when the to-do list is long, the coffee is cold, and the wins, big or small, are worth celebrating. Whether you're building a brand, packing school lunches, or just trying to find a little space to breathe, you are in the right place. This is Roots and Realities. Let's get into it. Welcome to today's episode of Roots and Realities, where I sit down with guests to talk about marketing, motherhood, and entrepreneurship. I am so excited about today's guest, Lauren Winter. I met Lauren through Bond, a private professional club for accomplished women, and we immediately connected as working moms of young kids. Lauren Winter is the head of operations for the advertising organization at Vox Media, where she leads the teams, systems, and operating model that power the company's advertising revenue engine. At the heart of Lauren's work is a belief that great businesses are built by great people. She is passionate about developing high-performing teams, helping people grow in their careers, and creating environments where individuals can do their best work. Throughout her career, she has led organizations through periods of rapid growth and transformation, helping teams navigate change while staying connected, resilient, and focused on what matters. Outside of work, Lauren is a wife and the mom of 3 young children. She's passionate about redefining what leadership can look like and having honest conversations about ambition, motherhood, and the realities of trying to build a meaningful career while being deeply present for the people who matter most. Welcome to the show, Lauren.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. So let's get started with your story. So how did you end up in media and advertising, and what kind of put you on that path, especially to running that larger organization team?
Yeah, so I, in college, graduated with a degree in PR. I started right after college with a job in PR, but I wanted to move into the city as fast as possible. And that was an internship, which I was so thankful for. But the first opportunity that I really had to get a full-time job was in media. So I sort of accidentally found this industry of digital media and have been in it ever since, starting on the agency side, moving over to an ad network. And then I actually joined my current company 13 years ago, which in the media world is a wildly long tenure. So it's been a fun ride. It's been anything but boring. We've been through 3 mergers and acquisitions in the last 6 years. So it's constantly evolving, constantly changing, the industry itself and the tech that supports it. So it's been interesting to say the least. Even though it's been the same company, it's felt like many.
Oh, absolutely. And congrats. Again, being in this industry too, 13 years is incredible to have that career at one company. And like you said, I can only imagine how much it's changed just with my, years at agency life, but just with technology, just like you said, and the demand and what changes. I'm so excited to hear more about it too, because again, that's impressive. I'm sure anyone listening is like, how does that even happen? Which we'll get into. So let's talk about that. Like, what does your role look like in a day-to-day, and like, especially maybe some of the things that people wouldn't see, and I'm sure you get this all the time, but titles only say so much, job descriptions only say so much, but what does that day-to-day actually look like in your role?
So right now I'm leading operations for an advertising org at a large media company, and we just actually completed that 3rd merger in the last 6 years that I referenced last week. So my day-to-day right now is very much transformation management, making sure that we're taking the team with us through any of the changes that happen and trying as hard as possible to give the team some stability and clarity through this time of uncertainty, through any change. It's uncomfortable, of course. So being able to give the team the information necessary to stay steady in their current roles, make sure the clients don't see those merger and acquisition cards that we're dealing with internally, which is a very important aspect of it, and making sure that everyone is rowing in the same direction when it comes to the priorities of the week, which maybe change week over week, maybe day over day, and keeping the org aligned with where we're heading and what the goals are and what the focus is for the week and the weeks ahead. So it's been a big part of my life for the last few months, and it has been a big part of the job in general, even over the last few years, because like we said, the landscape is constantly changing. Even if the org that you're in is not, the tech you're using is changing, what clients are asking for is changing, where the dollars are being spent, the products that we have to make sure are available to stay on top of it, that's constantly changing. So transformation management is a huge part of that job, especially when overseeing multiple functions within an org.
100%. And working with people during navigating change. And just like you said, like there's so much, like my experience with change management, like so much of like the emotion and fear that comes with, especially like an acquisition, that, you know, security in people's roles on top of navigating the actual change of, you know, what the day-to-day processes and, you know, operations, but then like people and, you know, I'm sure
part of it is more than half. Like it truly is. Like we're building these workflows, we're making sure the systems are set up, we're integrating where we can, we're working with vendors to reestablish our contracts, but the human side of it, the people that work at this company are the most important asset you could ever have. And especially we're lucky to have a lot of people with long tenures, which is great and again rare, and that type of institutional knowledge can't be replaced. And making sure that those employees feel supported and heard is just as important, and making sure the systems are set up to handle the change and the shift.
Absolutely. And the people are the business, and you know, the change can't happen without them. Absolutely.
And people feel when that's not the sentiment.
Absolutely. Very clear when it's not aligned and they don't feel supported. And then you have that fear on top of, you know, lack of support. And clearly that's how organizations make bad change management. So let's talk a little bit about, since so much of our podcast is about marketing and motherhood, which is what's so passionate to me. And I think like the first time we talked, we just connected of like, oh my gosh, we've lived these like parallel lives, like on opposite sides of the country. But how has becoming a mom of 3 changed your definition of ambition?
Ooh, that's a really great question. And it's made me more ambitious. It has made me realize that the foundation that I'm setting up is more than just for me. So that is a driver. That is definitely a motivator for continuing to grow and to build. And I want my kids too to see that they can also do something like that and have a life that is multifaceted, and that you can have many different parts of you that are equally as important, and all of those parts together make you the whole human. But my kids there's little now. They're almost 7, 4.5, and 2. So there's a lot that they don't understand, but there's a lot that I see them picking up on, and I am doing it really for myself, but all for them at the end of the day. And it's changed to how I prioritize myself during the day, because there are things that maybe I would ruminate on previously or like spend a little bit more time on. And I found that in being a mom, you can't control your time. If anything, it's the opposite. Your time is very much controlled for you, and the amount of free time that you have, and the time of the day in which you have to get things done for work or for yourself. So I've learned to be even more productive and discerning with the time that I do have, which has been helpful in order to make quicker decisions, to get things done more quickly, and to make sure that you're not focusing on things that don't matter. Like you're spending the time on the things that matter and the things that move yourself and the company forward.
Absolutely. And like that time and energy just becomes so much more valuable, right? Like it's like, and same thing. It's like this, you know, client situation 5 years ago would have been like obsessing, you know, for a week. And now it's like, nope, I got to get over it by pickup, because I am on and I can't, you know, ruminate like you said in those.
And you have to learn that, and I've learned this the hard way, but it's fine because I know it now, that you can control your own energy. You can decide how you are reacting to a certain situation, and there is no point in wasting energy in areas that you can't control. So a big part of growth in business and in leadership and probably just in life in general is understanding that you can't let your emotions take you to a place that's unproductive. In order to remain on the right track, you need to remain calm in every situation and make sure that you're making fact focused decisions to move things forward, and that all the energy spent on relitigating a decision you can't control or thinking about something that has happened that cannot be changed, that it's in the past, all of that energy could have been spent on moving forward and figuring out how to adapt and working towards a solution for the answers that can move the company forward. So that shift of energy and making sure that you are in control of that at all times has been helpful in prioritization and in discerning what is important and what's not. It also has the side effect of having others around you feel that as well and want to work with you and want to figure out solutions and collaborate together. Your energy affects everyone around you, and that's a lesson for work, but it's also a lesson for home as well. Like the kids can feel if you're stressed, or and I'm guilty of, I'm not going to say that I don't show that sometimes for sure, but I find that they feed off energy, and
absolutely.
it's the same with coworkers and in the workplace too, of that negativity and stress spreads like wildfire, and it's the least productive energy that you can give out.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Energy is just so contagious in every space. And it's wild even, I know we both have younger, even your 7-year-old's a bit older, but we are 4 and 2-year-olds, same. And it's crazy how much my 4.5-year-old now will, Mommy, are you sad? Like she reads, and I am like, stressed, or I am feeling, off for some reason. And she just like picks up on it at such a young age. So just like you said, like everywhere we know, especially adults, pick up on energies, and as a team, especially during change management or anything you're trying to move forward, but even just the littles can pick up and feel that energy in it.
And I tell my oldest, I can feel that like anxiety coming, and I try and pull her, like I say all the time, remain calm in every situation. It's going to be harder to find the solution if you're not calm. And for her, that's like finding what shows she wants to watch on Netflix. Right. It's like stressing her out. She can't find the right one. It's going to take you longer to find it if we continue with this energy. So take a deep breath, remain calm. And I remind myself, and I remind my kids all the time, like, it's not an emergency. Like, we can't find your shoes. It's okay. Like, it's not an emergency. We're going to find them. And I do have to constantly remind myself of the same thing, but hopefully that's a life lesson I can give that they can internalize a bit earlier than I was able to in life.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think even just like you said, kind of treating it that way too, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that has those mornings where it's like, we are moving too slowly. Find the shoes, where it's like, it does feel like an emergency. And to remind yourself in those moments of like, if I'm panicking, stressed out that we're not going to get out the door in time, that's not, to your point, that's not going to help her find the shoes or get the shoes on.
It's
the opposite.
Continuous lesson. I'm continuously getting better. It's
the practice,
not something that I'm claiming to be perfect at, but it's a North Star.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, again, just so relatable. So what part of your pre-kid self do you maybe still recognize, and what parts maybe have evolved? I've really noticed, like, since I've had kids, I feel like there's some parts of me that are still like who they've always been, but there's other parts that I'm like, I'm a different person. So I'm just curious, like, if you've had any of that, as it relates to work and or, motherhood.
As it relates to work, it is being able to be more efficient with the time that I have. I think that's been a big change with the way that I work, and understanding what's important and what's not, and knowing that this isn't the whole world. Like, for me, it's advertising. It's very, very important. We need to win. We need to do well. Like, I'm very motivated by that, but I have, my priorities have realigned in terms of like what matters the most in life, and that becomes your kids and family, and that perspective helps to keep those energy levels calm. That perspective helps to take a step back and figure out the right decision without letting emotions take control. So that's been a difference. Time management has been a difference. So I used to be able to wake up when I needed to, stay at work as long as I needed to stay at work to get things done, stay up as long as I needed to get things done, grab a few chips for dinner if I need to. Like that was it, and that's fine. That changes completely when you have kids, because your time is so dictated by their schedule. You have other tiny humans that are relying on you for dinner. They can't just grab a bag of chips, although I think they would enjoy that.
That might actually be what they want, but we all know we shouldn't. And maybe
I don't want them to just grab a bag of chips. So because you have other people that are relying on you and can't function physically, cannot function without you, you have to realign your day to be there in those moments, and be there in the morning, and be there at dinner time, to make sure that, as often as possible, to make sure that you are showing up for the moments that matter with the family. And I'm lucky too that my husband is. So we're absolutely 50-50 when it comes to managing the household and getting things done. And I know that some people aren't as lucky as that. So that's been extremely helpful. I think normalizing asking for help too is a huge thing at work and in life. It's okay to not be able to do it all. And that is something that I had to learn and teach myself, and gradually become more okay with, that it's not possible to do all the things. And so people do ask all the time, because they know I have 3 kids, they know what I do for work, and they ask, like, how do you do it all? And my answer almost always is I don't. And I think that that's important, is like you cannot do it all. So if there's people that are feeling down on themselves or discouraged because they can't figure out how to balance, then I would likely say a common cause of that is not having enough of that balance, and trying to do every single thing that they feel like they should be, and without asking for help on a school pickup, or for someone, like, I've been ordering school lunch, and for the first 5 years of my daughter's life, as I am not ordering school lunch, I am going to make her this organic lunch every single day. It's going to be perfect. And I put so much pressure on myself to make that lunch every day. And then she comes home and she asks me, everyone else is ordering, why do I have to bring? I'm like, oh, okay.
Who am I doing this for?
That out. And like, that's been a great unlock too. It's taking the help wherever possible, and organizing your day in a way that is what's needed for me. So for example, I wake up early, and some people are not morning people, so I wouldn't recommend it if you're not. I'm not a evening night person, so I can't stay up late to get things done. It has to be the morning. So I'll wake up early around 5 and do whatever's necessary. So if that's depending on work, if it's hopefully working out, that's the ideal situation. But whatever, however you're able to sneak in those extra hours in the day has been helpful too. And so this morning that looked like I woke up, I went to a 5:30 Pilates class. I got home, made the camp lunches, and then our babysitter got there at 7:30. I was out the door by 8:15 to get the train to the city, and I'll head home tonight for dinner. And just, you have to build in that schedule, and it takes time to figure out the right cadence of things and where you are most productive, and making sure you're organizing your day to capitalize on that. And if there are things like a camp performance, which there is on Friday, or any school activity that it matters that you show up for, that's a non-negotiable for me. And I will be there. It doesn't matter what I have to do work-wise before or after to figure that out. Like, I will be there. So being able to understand what's the most important, both at work and at home, and then how they all fit together, and being okay with the rest of it maybe reprioritizing to tomorrow, or we're asking for help on.
Absolutely. Everything. I'm just like, yes, all the things. I just couldn't agree more. And you got it. Like, I just wanted to get into like the mental load and burnout, and you just like walked us in there so beautifully, because that, like, the biggest thing that you said that really resonates with me, and I feel like I still struggle with, but it's one of like the biggest growth areas I've seen, is the expectation setting of like myself, and like setting unrealistic expectations for, like, same thing. My husband and I are like so 50-50, you know, he is required to be in an office. I'm at home. So like there is more flexibility I have in my day to do drop off, pick up. But, you know, outside of that, it's like, you know, as even as possible. But I know there's certain things as mom that are just, you know, constantly there. So I want to get into that. But the expectation thing, I think, is just so big that so many working moms, or even just like you said, people that talk to me, same thing, like running a business, they're like, how do you do it all? And it's like, I don't. Like, the fact that,
and that's, to be honest. Other
and
people are gonna like think that you do, and like feel bad about themselves if they can't, but it's not possible.
Literally. And like, that's a part of why I did this podcast, is like, because I don't think anyone is, but if some people like appear to be, then it's like, let's talk about like how it's actually a lot messier than that. And like, it's not as pretty as you may think, or like, you know, sometimes it's made to look on social media. And I've tried to be more vulnerable on social media, so it's clear of like it isn't always sunshine and rainbows here, like, because I think there just needs to be more of that, because then that's where these like unrealistic expectations get set, because they're like, oh, well, so-and-so's doing it and has no issues. Why am I struggling? I must, you know, not be good enough. And it's like, we already have enough that we're worrying about, trying to like raise tiny humans and also like work and support, that we don't need to like work against ourselves as well, or set, you know, I always like to think too, like what I expect, like what I'm expecting of myself of like anyone else, or like want my daughters to put that pressure on themselves, you know. And it's like kind of thinking like, am I treating myself like I would treat anyone else?
Them to treat themselves.
Yes. And like when I think about it like that, it's like, or like when I'm beating myself up that I didn't, you know, get whatever done, usually on the weekend, where like I didn't get all the laundry, you know, put away like I wanted. It's like, oh, well, there's laundry, you know, like those sort of negotiables now, just like you said, priorities. It's like, it was more important to go play outside with my kids than the laundry that's sitting there. Like, and I used to like, I'm very type A. It used to bother me. And I've gotten so much better of like, the house is going to be a little messier than I usually am okay with.
I always say, when I win the lottery or otherwise have enough money and to build my own dream house, one of the things I must have in it is instead of a junk drawer, like a junk room, because I don't just hide it. I just need a room where I can just, it's a staging room. It has a secret door. Everyone knows it's there. It. Yeah. And then the house can be clean. It's just everything you didn't get to yet can just be
out of sight, out of mind. Because I'm the same way. Like if I can see it, it bothers me. But if I can't, then it's like, well, it's whenever I have.
And it doesn't bother the kids. So then that's where it comes back to like prioritizing for at home. It's prioritizing their view of you and their view of the world and their day and their weekends and everything else. It just doesn't matter as much. Yes.
And when you said about like the showing up, you know, before, you know, school and after, and like those moments like for dinner, that was different. You know, what made me think of that, or, you know, when you said that, was it's showing up like physically, but also like mentally. And I think that's another area that, and again, I want to get into like that conversation of like, and I'm sure you can relate to this, where it's like there's, especially in charge of, you know, this large org with change, like turning it off or attempting to be present. And like, that's something, you know, I've tried to have my own routines at the end of the day to like work on like a transition time for myself, since I do work it like in the house that like, you know, it's like I don't have a commute, which I think is a space that I would be able to turn it off. But I'd love to hear like, what does that look like from like, you know, Lauren boss mode to mom mode, and how do you like, you know, transition that so you can be present, and, you know, assuming it also is probably not perfect.
Absolutely. And I noticed that on days that I go into the office, and I'm usually in the office maybe 3 times a week, on those days I am more calm at home because it has the forced downtime of that train. And on the train home, I can get some work done. I'm usually, again, I'm a morning person, so by that time, it's likely not going to be productive anyway, so maybe I'm listening to something or reading. So on those days, I have that forced transition time, and I have noticed that I'm better at night because I have that time to like come down from it. When I'm working from home, I'm opening my home office door into direct chaos, and there's no time to switch in between. So I do need to do a better job of building in that sort of context switch. And I've been trying to, at the end of the day, organizing, okay, here's what I got done today, here's what I have to do tomorrow, here are the priorities for the morning. And so then that way, if I have all of that organized before I step out of that office or before I move on with my night, even if there's still stuff to do after bedtime, as long as that to-do list is organized in a way that I know exactly what I didn't get to and when it will get done, that helps to give my brain permission to forget about it for a little bit and leave it. I have same thing with like when I'm going to bed. I think of all these things that we have to do both in work and in life. There's just so much, and having a notepad by my bed helps with that too, because if I write it down, it gives me permission to stop thinking about it. Like it's written down, it's there for tomorrow. I don't need to continue to
think about it right now.
Wheels in my head on it. Yeah, it's tomorrow's problem. So there's little things that I try and do. I also got the brick. I don't know if you've heard of it, but
I've heard people love it.
This little, I don't know, brick that it's a little magnet. So it's on my fridge, and the app is on your phone, and it, based on the apps that you want it to turn off, will turn it off when you scan that little brick or on a set schedule. So I have all of my social media, for example, automatically turn off from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., which is helpful because I'm not scrolling in bed or getting distracted by things that don't move me forward. So it automatically turns off. And it's great because the time limits I just ignore and keep going. But this, you would have to like actually physically get it down to the fridge and scan the thing to get TikTok back, and that's like, then I'm like, I would have a problem. It's not worth it.
You're like, that's not worth it.
So that has been helpful too, because I often will pick up my phone to look at a text message, and all of a sudden I'm on Instagram or on TikTok.
We
and
all
I don't know
are,
what happens. So I'm trying to limit that at night, which has been helpful too, because it's not a productive use of time.
Absolutely. I love that. I've heard good thing. I just was emailing someone that said they got the brick and
Oh,
loved
so
it.
funny.
So that might need to be
Not sponsored.
Yeah, I was going to say this podcast is not, but we might need to be, because probably we could hand out free bricks on the podcast. But I love, I love the idea of the notebook by the bed too, because I'm absolutely guilty of like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night to like go to the bathroom, and then it's just like, I need to reschedule that doctor's appointment. And it's just like bam, bam, bam. Of course, then like whatever's going on with work, that starts to creep in. And as soon as my brain starts to go, I'm awake for hours. And of course, that impacts then everyone the next day. So I love the notebook. So I'll end up putting it in my phone, and then I'm on my phone, and then I'll just be like, I'll just do it right now at 2 a.m. So I love the, like you said, and then it gives you the permission, which also, that transition. And I've thought about that, not having a commute, working in my basement, of like, if my husband gets home around 3:30, and it's like, we have a window right here, he walks in and he's like, you need to go upstairs. Cause like, we pick up the girls 45 minutes later. Like that's my commute, is like, I can then turn it off, talk with him about his day, like do something mindless to transition. But I love what you said about, I think it's just like intentionality, like all the things you just said. It's like, these are things you're doing intentionally, because unfortunately, a reality is it's not automatic. Like something has to kind of turn that off, because both your career is important. You've made that clear. My career is important, but my family is more important. And I'm not going to let my career sacrifice my time or my presence with my family. But it's not as easy as declaring that as it is taking the actions, to actually make it true. So
and the kids don't see the effort that goes into being able to be there in those moments. Like they don't see waking up at 5 to get
rearranging your day,
10 different Slacks and emails before the day starts. But it's just, that's the point. Like I don't want them to see that. I also don't want them to feel like work is like something you have to do, and it's like I'm forced to do it. Like I like it. Like I like my career, and so I want them to not view it negatively either. So I
Right.
try
Or
not to talk
impacting
about
them. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I try not to talk in a way that's like exactly impacting them. Like, oh, I can't do this because mommy has to work, or I wish I
Yeah.
didn't have to work. I wish I didn't
Yeah.
have. Like I try and not
Yeah.
have that sentiment with them, so they don't view it as something negative.
Yeah, absolutely. And how empowering for them to see that at
Yeah.
such a young age, and I know you at least have, do you have all daughters? I can't
I have two daughters, and the 2-year-old is son.
Okay, that's what I knew.
Yeah,
You at least had daughters,
yeah,
especially for women, and I think that's
yeah,
what's incredible about our generation is, even just what we talked about with like the balance in our home, 50
yeah,
50, and being working with moms and women is just so much more prevalent, into
yeah,
2026 than ever. And I saw something the other day that said, the percentage, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but a large percentage of new businesses founded now are by women. And just, this incredible shift
yeah,
that's happening, which is just, to also show that to daughters and
yeah,
of course to your son is just so
yeah,
cool. Have you ever felt burnt out? Let's get out to like, these have been all
yeah.
like amazing things, but like, have you ever felt burnt out? You're like, yeah, which time?
Yeah.
And like, how did you navigate that? Either like before kids, after kids, like
Yeah.
however you want to go there. But I definitely can resonate with this. And again, I had never really heard people talk about it, like of
Yeah.
how, like, oh, don't get burnt out. But like, what happens when you
Yeah,
do,
it's so hard because there's a saying that if you don't take a break, your body will decide when, and it
Yeah.
might not be at the most convenient time. So I try and be intentional about having time for myself whenever possible, and being honest and realistic when that is needed, and even if it's something small. But I have like there are times, of course, where I feel burnt out and I need just space, if it's from work, even from family, like that. You as a person is like the third aspect of your life, and you need to take care of yourself just as much as you do your family and your career. And it's hard to, that's like a third aspect that you're adding to this balance. But that's my mornings for me. The train, which is sad, but I am by myself, and so it's like it's a time to do that. I do a lot of girls' nights and a lot of like girls' trips, and like I don't feel guilty about doing those things because again, my husband and I are equal partners and 50-50 there, and also it's okay for the kids to see that you are taking care of yourself, and it makes me a better mom to know that there's no question that I'm able to do that or not. And to like have that reset. So being able to, even if it's a morning or a day that you're able to take off and kind of reset, and uh, taking off a random Monday here or there where you might have childcare and you just need to do whatever you need to do to set yourself back up for success. If that's getting stuff done in the home, great. If that's doing nothing, great. But it's like a little bit of a reset. So something that I haven't done but I've thought about implementing, and so maybe this is my moment and I will, is even a 1 day a month, let's say that's a no meeting day, because then you'll be able to use that to get ahead and be productive. And like I feel like especially in moments of transition and in a leadership role, it's so easy for that calendar to be completely booked, back to back to back all day, every day. And even having time when that's not an expectation is helpful for a reset to, or if I feel unorganized, that's where like the burnout is likely going to happen faster. If I can get moments that I intentionally set aside to reorganize myself, re-understand, figure out what my priorities are, and think about do set up time for some strategic thinking of like, okay, we're going through all the tactical things, but let me take a step back. Is this working? What's not working? How do I organize myself better? What does the team need from me? What does the org need from this team? And be able to plan the future better, which is like, again, if I'm organized and if I'm able to prioritize in a way that keeps me focused, then it's helpful for that burnout. I feel that burnout when I start to move at a pace that gets me off that track.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you start to lose, and what I kept hearing is like lose control, right? Like it feels like you've lost control, and like in any way, if it's like with the home, like you said, like if it's a day to just like we are behind, like that room maybe that we talked about this extra.
I'm picturing exact spaces in my house right now in which I have lost control.
Right. There's spaces in my work that I feel like it's lost control with, and that's exactly what I've, when I start to feel, and for me it's like anxiety starts to creep in. It's like, okay, something's feeling out of my control. I need, just like you said, like that reset. And I've recently, it's not been every month, but it's been close to it. Like Monday, when I've had childcare, I've taken the day and I've done like, either if I say like go to the gym, do a class, I'll do like the spa, I'll go get my nails done, like something, because those are like self-care things that I enjoy.
And it looks different for everybody.
Exactly. Like it looks, and sometimes it is like being productive at home, or it's like one day I literally sat and read for hours. I laid in bed and read, like listen to music, like anything that like just spoke to me, like what I felt like I needed. I went hiking one day, like whatever it is. But I think like what kind of started that with of, to show up for everyone else, and you're like, you're a third person in that, but you're also like the most important, right? Because like if you can't like kind of keep showing up for those other roles, then like if you don't feel, and I come back to like the cup analogy, because I think it's just so true. But like if you're not filling your own cup and there's nothing in there, like you can't pour into everyone else. And I feel like moms, and especially working moms, it's like you get spread so thin because you feel like you have to be in all these places, but then like you get neglected, and like that then is going to just spill out, whatever is left over, and it's usually not pretty.
It hurts at work. It hurts at home. Like
relationship, like it impacts everything. Because then, of course, you're always in, at least me, like then I'm uptight, then I'm like snap. It's like everything is kind of on edge, but it's always.
And then I catch myself like, why did I just act that way? Like there's no reason. Like what am I trying to prove? Like why am I like there's no reason for me to react in that way. So that's when I know too that it's like, okay, I need to like take a little bit of a reset, and being outside, like you said, going on a hike is helpful for that. Going on a walk or just spending some time outside is helpful for a little reset.
Like touch grass, literally.
Yes,
like I think
that's literally like, just go touch.
And it like, and I think that's something else I've realized, what we talked about with like, it's advertising, like it's important, but like there's so many bigger things. For me, it's like seeing like I'm such a small piece in like this big world, it kind of just like makes everything like brings it back to like grounding of like, this is, like you said, this is an emergency, this isn't that big of a deal. But when you don't keep on top of it like proactively, it creeps up and everything feels really big. So it's like, just literally go touch the grass, look at the blue sky, and it will
Deep breath.
And
I try and plan like the next vacation or the next time away. So there's something to look forward to. Of like
absolutely.
A reset, like a reset in the future that is coming.
Yes, coming. And then it feels like you also have that to look forward to, and you feel like you are getting a break, rather than those long stretches where maybe, you don't have that and it feels endless, right? Like a hamster wheel sometimes. So you kind of brought a little bit of this up, like, what am I trying to prove? And I want to get to this because I've absolutely felt this way, and I can only imagine in your roles you have. But how do you handle when maybe self-doubt creeps in when you are performing at such a high level? So what does that look like?
It comes in the form of imposter syndrome, and I think for many people, and the way that I've been able to combat that is through almost feigning confidence. And it's like I tell myself, and I tell others too, like confidence is a choice. And so you can tell yourself that you're confident in a situation, tell yourself that you trust yourself in a situation, and be able at the same time to understand exactly what you don't know and who to work with to figure out the answers, and be confident at least in your ability to work with the experts in the different situations at hand and come up with a solution or come up with a plan to move forward. And I think that's a very natural feeling, especially when something is new, to feel that way. But that, like, telling myself that confidence is a choice has been helpful, and a mindset shift that has been beneficial in having that come to life. And I think that it's important to spread that to others as well, like the other leaders on the team, the managers on the team, that especially external folks, like clients want to work with people that are confident and that they understand, like, have their best interest and know exactly how to move things forward. And you can exude that and at the same time take the time to get the answer. And that comes out it has a much better result than trying to prove yourself in the moment by coming up with an answer that might not be the best possible, or fumbling over words to try and explain something and make yourself sound like an expert in something you're not. It's way more, it's perceived much better when you're able to confidently say that you're going to get that answer and you're going to figure it out. And the same thing with leading any teams through change. Like, they want to see that their leadership team is steady, and while they may not have all of the information, they want to trust in them that they're going to get it, and they're going to share the information as soon as it becomes available. And so that has been a mindset shift too. It's again about giving yourself grace. Like, you have to understand and know you're not going to know it all, and that's normal, and that's okay. You're not gonna be able to do it all, and that's normal, and that's okay, because it's two sides of the same coin when you have to balance, like, not, like, it's okay to not know it all, and it's okay to
no, it's okay. And I think it's okay to admit it. Like, I think right there, like, in what you were getting at too, is like in those moments of either you aren't fully confident in, like, the subject or the answer, like, that's okay. And like, I feel
admit
like
it to yourself, admit it to others. Like, it's totally fine. It's
because
normal.
And I think it's almost like sketchier and you're less trusted when you try it, right? Like, you could probably think of people that are know-it-alls, like they think they know everything, and then you trust less of what they say because it's like you can't know everything. So like, I think the people that I've worked with or collaborated with that I've had the best working relationships have been the people that, like, we do have those real up, like, I have no idea what's going on right now, and like,
exactly, I will find out. And so success is not knowing it all. Success is not doing it all. Like, success is understanding the information that you need to figure out and finding it, and the success is knowing exactly what needs to get done, knowing what you can do and what you need to delegate or shift, and that, like, it's not taking it all on,
absolutely,
or not pretending that you know every single aspect of the job. And as you grow in an organization and in leadership, it's impossible. It's impossible 100%. To know how to do each individual function on the team. You naturally get to a point where you are not the expert in execution, and that is fine. That is okay. And so being able to be humble in that is important too.
Absolutely.
And,
and knowing that you have people, you know, especially as a leader, that, like, those are the pros, like, you know, and you have the right people in place doing those things. Because if you were to try to do it, like, then you're not going to be good at your job because there's only so many hours.
For example, I'm not a designer. So I will put together something on, like, a rollout slide, and my someone that I work with that is a designer is like, let me just. Can I? I was like, yes, please.
Just get in there.
Please do whatever you need to that slide to make it more visually appealing.
Yeah. But, like, know what you bring to the table and know what you don't. And like, I think, like you said, like, be humble, but also just, like, giving yourself the grace that, like, also that's okay. And, like, I love, that's what I've always said as a leader and, like, as a friend and sister, is, like, giving yourself grace, because ultimately, like, what it comes down to in those moments, if you're not, is, like, you're trying to prove something, which then you're setting this, like an unrealistic expectation that you should, like you said, imposter syndrome. Well, I should know this. It's like, no, like, realistically, like, I know these things. This is, like, my zone of genius, and I'm going to let these people have theirs. And, you know, that's literally what a team is. So I do think it's, like, that proving yourself thing that I especially early in my career at my agency, I felt like I was always just trying to like, I
Yeah.
didn't feel like I belonged in the room. So I felt like I had to like prove that I belonged in my role. And like, that is such like a complicated, complex thing to like feel, because it's like, okay, I'm in the role, but I don't feel like I deserve to be. So I have to act like I'm something else, you know? So it's like almost this, like, I just got in my own way, and then I wasn't the best leader. And it was just, but and kind of like you said, I think with me, it was like, I literally had to fake the confidence until I felt it, because like I had to be in the room. Like it was my role. I did get there.
Where like fake it to make it doesn't work, but confidence is one place where I truly think
100%. And that's what I told, like, I then, you know, mentored other, especially women. And I was like, you got to fake it till you get there, because you're also then going to trick your own brain into having the confidence, right? Because it's like, dang, I kind of do look, you know, and I still have moments. I'm like, okay, I'm like growing a business. Like maybe I kind of do know what I'm doing. Look at me. I'm a business owner, you know, and it's like, but then it starts to be like, okay, that kind of worked, you know, and then you kind of, but you, unless you, you know, give yourself those opportunities to try, then like you're never going to become that, right? And like you're the first, like you said, anything new is intimidating, and of course you're not going to be good at it because you've never done it, but like you're not gonna unless you do it, which is kind of pretending for a little bit, because you're learning, you know? So I think like, and like same with our kids, like, you know, the first time my daughter goes out and plays soccer, she's probably not gonna be very good because she's never done it. And am I gonna be like, wow, I thought you were gonna be better at that? Like, no, like, of course, you know, when I see my daughter even like learning her letters, and she got so frustrated when she couldn't write, and I was like, it broke my heart. I was like, you're 4,
you're learning. It's supposed to be hard. Like it's not supposed to be easy. You don't know how to do it yet. You're learning,
and you're practicing. You're practicing. It's only going to get easier. But to see so young what just happens, I think naturally. So it's something else I'm trying to make sure I'm modeling of like, you know, mommy doesn't know, or, you know, they'll ask me like wild questions, and it's a lot about animals. They're like, the other day, they're like, I think it was raccoons or something, like, where do raccoons sleep? And I was like,
so many questions.
That's such a good, we'll have to do a follow up in the show notes, because I still don't know. And I think someone actually told me, but like those type of things. And I'm just like, that's a really good question. I don't know. And then we like guess together. And of course, I'm like, are they?
A lot of times you just turn around like, what do you think? Or like,
exactly.
Like my 2-year-old, I don't even know what he's asking sometimes. And he's like, what's that? What's that? What's that? And I don't know what he's pointing. I'm like, what do you think?
Like, and then you kind of get more information. Yeah. But I think it's the same sort of thing of like, it's okay to admit to anyone you don't know the answer. Like, I know we can find it, but like, let's also think through it together. Because like, what a cool moment with your child or a coworker to like, neither one of us know what's happening here. Like, let's try to figure it out.
And
like,
I think that's such a key point to it, and that's especially helpful when working cross-functionally with other teams. Of the answer of I don't know, or that's not my job, isn't a good one, but I don't know, who do you think would know the answer? Let's loop them in so we can have this conversation and figure it out. Or I don't know, but this person was able to help me with a similar question last time, so let's chat with them together, and we can like figure it out and make sure that it's in this resource for next time. Like it's that collaborative nature of information gathering that helps move that along.
And using your resources. Like there's always there's always answers, just you gotta go find them, and you don't have to have them all. Amazing. Let's talk about a couple of things that have been like working from routines and boundaries with everything you have learned. So what would you say, like what routines, boundaries, maybe non-negotiables are helping you in this season? You kind of mentioned like the brick, like the commute. Is there anything else you think, like as mom of 3 in this, you know, leadership role, that like you feel like you're like, this is like, I got this down? Like, what are those things that have worked?
I don't know if I ever feel like I've got this down, which is, again, okay to admit. But in terms of resources and tools, I have, again, not sponsored, another plug, the Skylight calendar.
Yes, so I got one for Mother's Day.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's been great for me. So because we get 3 different school emails, which is 3 different spirit weeks, which is 3 different like days where you need to bring like pizza money or whatever it might be, and being able to organize that in my brain is absolutely impossible. And then also being able to share that information with any caregiver that's helping with the children is impossible. So having that system where I can just forward an email to a school email, and it automatically adds every single thing that we could need on the calendar, or taking a picture of a birthday invite and emailing it, and it automatically adds the information to the calendar. Like, that has been life-changing. And also, speaking of birthdays, one thing that I have is a birthday present closet, because you will realize as you have, now my daughter just finished kindergarten, the amount of birthday parties that she is invited to is insane. And now, and the 4.5-year-old too, and the 2-year-old's about to start having those too from his school. So I have a closet that has all like birthday parties by like maybe little girl gifts, little boy gifts, all of the wrapping paper, tissue paper, gift bags, scissors, the tape, so cards, it's all in one place. So then before a birthday party, you can just grab
mom
and put it together.
Do you have gifts in there too, or is it just the wrapping? You have the gifts?
So I'll just like stock the gifts up where there's at Target, for example, these like great paint kits. So I'll buy you just 10 unicorns and 10 dinosaurs and like have it ready and then keep restocking it. And
what a big mom hack.
It's like, that's because I would get to Saturday morning and be like, shoot, we have this birthday party and I have no gift for this to give. Right. So being able to like have those things on hand that you're going to need is so helpful to just like get rid of that mental load.
Yeah, literally. Because if not, it's like that one thing that you're like, oh, I got to remember that. And then it's there and you're like, you got to go to Target. So, I love that. I have like the tissue. I have a gift bag, a thing with like, I have all gift bags and tissue covered. But I love the idea of like, just like scoop them while you see it, have it. And if you end up finding like it's a closer friend, they pick up something out, great, we'll save it for the next time. But like to have, I love that. And the skylight, again, we need now Brooke and Skylight if you want to sponsor. But and even the task, that's actually what we partly got is the tasks, like the stars for my 2-year-old wasn't staying in her bedroom at night. And it was like we had tried everything. And like, especially she'll be 3 actually next week. And that age that the brain is just like, I want instant
I know very well.
And so we try, and it's like fixed it. Like she gets stars.
We should try it. I haven't tried that feature yet.
That feature. I need to do more. I haven't done that. I did the school schedule, but I haven't done the birthday party invite where you, that's huge.
Yeah, that's great too. Because before I even put it down, like there's one like organization or productivity methods, like touch something once. Yes. So it's like, if you pick it up, don't just move it. Like put it where it's supposed to go. And so for an invite, take a picture, email it, and throw it out. So it's like
literally, because then it goes on the fridge and then it gets buried.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then that's been helpful. Time blocking the days is so helpful, and that's been a good way to get things done, even if it's a life thing. Like I do have to have it on my calendar. Like it's a meeting. It's the only way to make sure it gets done, or have like productivity bursts. So, for example, I know there's like a bunch of little tasks that need to get done. Even if it's 20 minutes, you can set an alarm for 20 minutes and make a list of the things that you're going to focus on in those 20 minutes. And it could be like, call the doctor, move this appointment, reach out to the electrician, check on the insurance. Those are all things I actually need to do.
You're like, this is my list.
And then just like run through it, because there's the amount of time I spend thinking about things compared to the amount of time it takes to just do it is like, it's ridiculous. Just like get it done and get it out of your brain. And the Mel Robbins 5-second rule is a big one too, of if you think of something and you need to do that thing, like physically out loud, count backwards from 5. Like you've already committed to it. When you get to 1, you have to just do it. And so I do that with getting out of bed at 5 a.m., for example, because it's going to be painful for like 30 seconds, and then it's going to be fine, and then you're fine.
It's so worth it when you have
get up, do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it. So that has been helpful to limit the procrastination and increase productivity overall.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. This is also, I could go on and on about the Mel Robbins podcast. So also another sponsor, throwing it out there. We're going to have a full sponsored show of all the hacks by the end of this. So kind of wrapping up with a few I guess, things that you'd like to like pass along if, for anyone listening. So what do you wish someone maybe had told you earlier about leading and parenting at the same time? So I love the like retrospective of like, whatever someone can learn that like you learned later on that you wish you would have known. So like, that's what I want to start with of like, is there anything you wish someone would have told you earlier about being a leader and being a parent at the same time?
Give yourself grace. And it's in asking for help, which is very similar, and it's okay to do that, and it's okay that you can't do it all. So the premise of anyone that looks like they're doing it all is not, and that's fine, but it's not possible, and you can still be successful in home and at work by not achieving that doing it all status.
100%. And that grace, just like giving yourself, with all of it, giving yourself that grace is just so good. What's one thing you'd tell a woman who's feeling burnt out or burning out and feels like she can't slow down?
Ask for help. It all goes back to that too, but also take time for like yourself. Because I think in those situations, like we said, it's so easy to forget that you exist in all of this, and you are the most important part of making it all run. And if you don't take care of yourself, it's going to feel harder. Work's going to feel harder, home's going to feel harder, and it's going to be harder to find time to to do those things that you need to do for yourself. So being really intentional and being honest with yourself about what those are. Like you said, maybe it's getting your nails done. Maybe it's just taking time away and by yourself. Maybe it is something with the kids or whatever it might be. Like being honest with yourself about what truly resets you and making sure you're extremely intentional about implementing that regularly and understanding the cues of when you might be heading in that direction of burnout, and then you need an emergency reset.
Yeah. All right. It's tomorrow. And I want to repeat what you said earlier too about like giving yourself the permission, like that's okay to need that too. You said about like the girls' nights and the trips and everything. And it's like you are a human still, and like you can't get lost in like the titles of mom and the work title of like, because you still need to look out for yourself and what is best for you. And I love, like you said, that not feeling guilty about it, because there's just so many moms out there that like struggle to do those things and do those things that are focused on filling them up in their soul and giving them energy. But again, you can't pour into everybody else without filling yourself up. So okay, this is the last one, and I love this question because it's kind of like a LinkedIn meme, but how has motherhood actually shaped you into a better leader, and not in like the, the LinkedIn post where like this happened and what it taught me about sales, but like how has motherhood actually shaped you to make you a better leader, which you touched on earlier, but I'd love to
I do think part of it is the prioritization and being able to be more discerning and quick to make decisions and help the team. I do think that a lot of the lessons of motherhood and being a parent are similar to the lessons that I want to pass along to the team and in work life as well, in terms of controlling energy, being solutions oriented, making it so others want to be around you. So it's a lot of parallel lessons that I think they work well in both situations. So that's been helpful to see and to learn along the way as well. And then it just being able to understand that everyone is their own human, and some people are parents, some people aren't, and everyone has the different aspects of their life that make them themselves outside of work, and those aspects are all equally as important. So understanding that everyone has that one thing that lets them continue to be content working here or happy in their life overall, and it's okay to take time to do those things as long as the work gets done. If you need to leave at 5 because there's a workout class and then you'll finish up when you get home, like that's fine. Like it does not matter to me at all when or how work gets done, as long as it does, and understanding that everyone has different facets of themselves that makes them them, and a small, while a large portion of time is spent at work, it's a small part of like oneself.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So beautifully stated. I couldn't agree more. And Lauren, thank you so much for this conversation. I would love to have you back on, because I think we could continue to chat.
This was fun. I can't believe it went so fast.
I know. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.